And just like that, XRP is in another bearish structure. Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today we're going to be talking about the technical analysis on XRP. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell selecting all the notifications and you will not miss another video update. If you haven't joined us in Discord, check it out guys, linked in the description below. I don't think you'll regret what's going on down there. Let's jump right down into this video for XRP. So here we have XRP paired up with USDT on BitGet Spot Exchange, and this is the 1 hour chart. Here we are taking a look at the smart money concepts and the recent structures and the recent moves for XRP. So as you can kind of see here, we've been in a very undecided market for XRP. We can see that we were in a bullish structure down here on the left hand side. Okay, that actually got confirmed with a break of structure. Then we switched into bearish, then we switched back into bullish. Then we're back into bearish, then back into bullish, and then bearish once again. Okay, so the structure's bouncing around all over the place. People are trying to ascertain whether or not they can go long or go short. And, you know, basically you're seeing a lot of people buy the rumor, sell the news. We saw that with the moves to the upside. And obviously when the emails came out, a massive move to the downside. Now the emails to those who are just speculating on price, thinking that, you know, it's going to be a moonshot, are really disappointed, saying that it's a nothing burger. And of course, then you've got people who are actually understanding what's gone on, saying actually this is really important, and yeah, I can see how Ripple can win the case now, right? And so that doesn't have a direct, you know, reaction to price, and this is something that we talk about quite often. I was talking about this a few days ago for XRP when we're talking about how ADA often has the buy the rumor, sell the news, right? There's a big event that's about to happen, everyone's hyped about it in the lead up to it, and then on the actual day the news breaks, you know, the market just tanks, right? It's buy the rumor, sell the news, right? It's one of the sayings that goes really well in crypto, along with some of these other ones such as buy the fear and not your keys, not your crypto. All these kind of sayings, buy the rumor, sell the news, and they actually play out most of the time, right? Sometimes, you know, price just carries on and rallies and so forth. But in the case of XRP here, on the fact that these emails coming out, which I think are critically important to the SEC losing, and it's, you know, not, as I've seen in the comments, it's not about Ripple winning, it's about the SEC losing so that crypto can win, okay? So for the most part, I think those emails really help kind of anchor that in, right? If Hinman was going rogue, ignoring the advice and recommendations from the SEC's 9 to 5 staff, right, as in the people who are actually, you know, working and making things actually happen, following the letters of the law, and yet the corruption at the top of the ladder basically ignores that and just does what they want because they're personally incentivized, shows you that there's corruption there, but also shows you that at that point when that speech is being made back in 2018, not only are just things being thrown out there that are not following the law and are basically Hinman's personal thoughts and opinions, that being said, has caused confusion, greater confusion on the words, as the words of the SEC are saying into the market. And the SEC didn't come out and correct any of it, right? They didn't publicly come out and say, you know, that's just personal thoughts and opinions. That's not the letters of the law. That is not a measure that the SEC are taking. They didn't do any of that to clarify it. They just kind of let it be. They then put it out on their website, Hinman's speech and all that kind of nonsense, and then touted about it, right? So the SEC have made a few blunders here, and I think that's critically important for Ripple win. Ripple win means XRP launches, and we aren't not there yet, but I think that's essentially where this is heading. So to see price move down, I think that's okay. I'm not too fussed about that. I think that's actually, you know, reasonable corrections have occurred here that are allowing us to see some kind of next big progression to the upside. As you can't just move in straight lines forever, right? You have to have these natural corrections. With that being said, though, we are in that bearish structure, so we want to be a little bit cautious with going long, with the market being very much undecided at the moment. We have got a couple of fair value gaps left behind. The most interesting one is the one right here on equilibrium. Equilibrium being, the level between the discount range and the premium range, which you can't quite see, but it's all the way at the top there. And so equilibrium is an interesting place that price likes to kind of head towards. We can also see though that we're below the 50 and 200 EMAs on this hourly chart, and the short-term price is below the long-term price. So again, that's also indicating bearishness. So we want to be a little bit cautious here. But the fair value gap on equilibrium is interesting. I think that's a price that we're likely to go to at some point. With that being said though, our move to the downside here is looking quite worrisome. So let's go ahead and just throw in our fibs on this. Just want to see how bad this can be potentially. It's just bounced right there. Actually, you know what? That's not bad at all. I think we're in a pretty good spot. So the next move potentially is going to be to the upside here, with a small maybe correction here briefly, because I think if we look at this, we might say it's a 5-wave structure that's not quite finished, as in like 1, 2, 3, 4, got to come down a little bit more for that 5th. And if we do that, then I think we're in a good position for a bounce. We can see on the stochastics, we're oversold on the 1 day, the 8 hour, the 4 hour, and just a little bit high on that 1 hour chart. Okay, so for the most part, it looks like there might be a little bit of a move to the downside before we actually move on up. Equilibrium currently sits at 51 to 51.6. So again, that is the area to kind of be thinking about targeting, in my opinion. A couple of fair value gaps, as I said many times before, I'll say it again in this video, just to try to help educate where I can. If we take a look at 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 here, we're just going to go over into the XRP spot position, USDT pair. You can see fair value gaps, right? These got left behind. I talk about these quite a bit. The next fair value gap that we can see, let me just go ahead and bring up a one in here. It wasn't really marked out, but it's right in here. Okay, so on our 1 hour chart, this is the area of interest to me personally. It isn't actually labeled on our chart here. 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 doesn't always tend to mark them all up, but we can see here that there's a gap. A price is likely to go ahead and fill this out. That's 48.162 to 49.982, and this basically created from an imbalance in the order books, right? So too much selling pressure, not enough buying pressure, creates the price to come down, as the market is illiquid in that range, right? Between 48 and 49 cent, there's illiquidity, and so no liquidity in that range. Price likes to go back and put liquidity in there. So as we can kind of see here, we probably move down. This is the range that we'll be looking for, which happens to fall inside or just below that equilibrium level. So going up a little bit higher towards 51 cent would essentially fill that gap out, like we had seen with this one over here, for example, right? We can see it's a very similar setup. We push down, we find ourselves for the resistance right on the lower side of the fair value gap, and then we rallied up above it. Over this side, very similar setup. We come down, we can see that we're resting on the resistance of the low side of the fair value gap, and then we pushed on through it, tested, pushed up, right? So here where we see we pushed up to the low side of the box, we're coming down a little bit, we're probably going to come up and test it. We're going to look to go all the way through that fair value gap. Okay, make no guarantees, they're not a guarantee, but for the most part you can see the two previous ones here and how they did actually play out, and you can see this third one that's yet to play all the way through, but you can kind of see how that's potentially going to go. So all in all, looking at the smart money concept side of things, whether you look at it on the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 exchange here with the spot trading going on, all the way through to the USDT pair and the imbalance in the order books, you can kind of see where that kind of goes. This is a trading view account built into 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘, by the way, guys, and KYC is optional. It's not something that you have to do on 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘, but obviously if you do, you get additional benefits with KYC, but if you don't want to do KYC, you don't have to, and therefore as such you can actually buy XRP with USDT pairs, for example. So there's an affiliate link to 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘 in the description below if that's of interest to you. Go back into my TradingView app and we can obviously see that fair value gap slightly differently. I can draw it in right here. This is the gap in question. So you can see it's just below equilibrium there, just below the 50 EMA and so forth. You can also see that the other fair value gaps that have been drawn out as well, but I'll leave that one in there for now. Moving over into the Elliott wave theory side of the business here, or XRP I should say, really. We can obviously take a look and say, okay, well, it looks like we have kind of completing or about to complete that ABC structure to the downside, and then from there we'll bounce to the upside. For the most part, that's an interesting place to kind of be. has come down, so we finished the high up here, so that's all done and dusted. We don't have to think about that right now. The next move to the upside will dictate and show us where we're likely to go, but ultimately on this hourly chart you can see it's just a ranging market. I'm not terribly too concerned about that. It is of course just kind of bouncing between the highs and the lows, and you can argue that it's kind of expanding out, so it could be a bit of a megaphone pattern in the horizon here. We call these more of an expanding diagonal base pattern from an Elliott wave theory point of view, and I think that's playing out quite nicely there actually. Potentially if this comes down just a fraction lower, that I suspect it will, we might find ourselves in a bit of an expansion here, and if that is the case, then the next move will be a bigger break to the upside in my opinion. Yeah, because what led into it. So yeah, I think ultimately that should be a pretty interesting spot to be for XRP there. One of those things to keep a close eye on overall. From our kind of daily time frame on Binance USDT pair, we can of course see the upper range at 58.5 not yet been broken, and as such still puts us in that big bearish state of play. So yeah, concerns are going to be around that a little bit until that's kind of broken. We can't rule out that bearish structure slightly longer term. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap this video up right there. Just a brief idea as to kind of where I think things are going on XRP. If you found it useful, smash the like button. If you're new, why not go ahead and subscribe? And don't forget to join us down in Discord. And if you're looking for a new exchange to buy XRP on, why not check out the affiliate link for 𝗕𝗫𝗫 in the description down below. Until the next video though guys, have a fantastic day.
We are not financial advisors, and none of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to lose your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not financial advice.